Hello, lovely people of God. Today is Doreen's Gospel Wednesday, and I'll be sharing with you an exciting topic titled The Principles of Faith. I remember somewhere last year I spoke on the topic faith, where I said that faith is the evidence of things hoped for and not seen. Today we are going to delve more into the principles of faith. Faith is the cornerstone that builds a relationship between humanity and God. What are some of the principles that we have to follow as humans to be able to comply with the will of God? One is that see what you're believing God for. How do you see that? First, you have to envision what you want to see. What are the things you want to see? If you're a young guy believing God for work, envision the work you want to see yourself in. Submit your CV, add your number, envision yourself. I want to receive this amount of salary. I want to work in this company. I want to do this in this company. Envision yourself. Let that vision be something that you are seeing that, and let it become a reality in your life. When we take the story of Abraham, let's first read Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1, where it says that faith is the confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Yes, you are not seeing the job you want to enter, but then again, you are believing God for it. You have the vision, you have the eyes of faith that yes, I've entered into the job I want to go into. As a young lady believing God for marriage, you are envisioning my wedding dress, my wedding ring, and if even possible, start working on it. When we read Genesis chapter 12 verse 1 to 3, it tells about the story of where God told Abraham to vision of being the father of many nations, even though he didn't have children, but he envisioned himself as the father of many nations. He kept on seeing what God has said for his life. Another thing is that you'd have to believe. Believing is the foundation of faith. Let's look at a scripture in Hebrews chapter 11 verse 6. And it says that, and without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. Abraham believed in the promises of God, that yet it will come to pass. He kept on believing, even though the assurance was delaying. He kept on believing in the promises of God. When we look at Genesis chapter 15 verse 6, it says that Abraham believed the Lord and he credited it to him as righteous. The third principle you have to comply with is confess. Hey, confess. When God promised Abraham that he'd be the father of many nations, he confessed that, hey, even though I might be childless at this point in time of my life, I will be the father of many nations. Let's look at the scripture from Romans chapter 10 verse 9. And it says that if you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. It is telling us that as we confess, we have to keep on believing in the principles of God. Confess that yes, I will be fruitful, my womb will be fruitful, I'll be rich. Let positivity be your hallmark this year. No, don't grieve. No grief for anybody for any negativity. Confess, keep on confessing all the positive things you need to realize in your life. I know that this year, many of us have written our New Year resolution. You have to confess so that it comes to reality. The fourth principle is that act on it. As Christians and believers this year, don't be relaxed in your seat, waiting for the miracle to happen to you. My dear, work on it. Let your actions speak. When God told Abraham that he will be the father of many nations, he acted on it. When God told him that sacrifice your only son, even after all these years of being barren and getting a child, God says sacrifice your son. Abraham Abraham was willing to sacrifice without any questioning. This year, act on the things you want God to do for you. If it's been marriage, start pricing the things you want. As a lady, start pricing your wedding dress. Start pricing your ring. As a gentleman, start pricing your suits. Price the things you want. Start sending your CVs to the big and top companies you want to work in. Act on it. When we look at the scripture in James chapter 2 verse 17, where Abraham's action demonstrated his faith when he was willing to offer his son Isaac. The scripture says that by faith Abraham, when God tested him, offered Isaac as a sacrifice, and he was embraced with the promises of God to sacrifice his one and only son, which can be found in Hebrews 11:17. Now the last principle is knowing and resting. When you know that God will do what he has said, and even the devil knows that God will do what he has said, you keep relaxed in your seat and believing in the faithfulness of God, that indeed he will do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we can imagine. This year, relax and rest on the promises of God. Yes, though you might not see it, but keep on believing, knowing that you know that God will do it. When we look at the scripture in Psalm 46 verse 10, it says that, be still and know that I am God. I'll be exalted among the nations and I'll be exalted in the earth. Be still. Don't be in haste to take into actions things that God hasn't approved. Be still and believe in the promises of God. Know that in his time he makes all things beautiful. When we also look at the scripture in Genesis chapter 21 verse 1 to 3, where it tells us about the story of many years of waiting, Abraham continued to trust in God's promises, and it was fulfilled when Isaac was born. This year, let Abraham's life be an example to us, because he was described as the father of faith. When we look at his life, we saw that he showed all the principles. He saw what God had for his life. He believed in it. He confessed that he made provisions and acted towards it. And at the end, he relaxed in the seat and believed that God was able to perform as he has said. This year, it is my prayer and it's my urge that you keep on believing in the promises of God and his faithfulness. And I know that he will do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we can imagine. Let your expectations be focused on God. And at the end, you will laugh. A laugh that you have never laughed in your life. And it will be gracious in His sight. Stay blessed and have a nice day. Bye.